Welcome to the Heaven on Earth podcast, a world where you study the story you were born into and redesign it into the story you choose. A world where you can have heaven on earth right here, right now, no matter the past. For me, heaven on earth is a holistic experience, leading with the heart, engaging with mind, body, and spirit. It's mindful, fostering calm and secure attachments. As we rise into consciousness, it's an earthly journey where we sensually embrace dynamic living.
Hello, beautiful souls. And it's been a minute since I've been on the podcast because I've been busy doing vlogs about narcissism on the YouTube channel. But here we are. Welcome back to the Heaven on Earth podcast. I'm your host, Claudia Cauterucci. I'm a Washington, D.C. based psychotherapist. I'm an author, and I'm the creator of the Dynamic Re-Evolution curriculum on Heaven on Earth. Psychotherapy meets spirituality. The nervous system meets the cosmos, and your individual inner journey becomes humanity's future. Our listenership is growing every week. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for helping me spread this healing movement. Seriously, this dynamic re-evolution into the world. Welcome, planet Earth. Today we're talking about something I believe with my entire body, my entire mind, heart, and spirit. Healing is activism, and not metaphorically and not symbolically, literally. Let's start by talking about what activism really is. And as always, I love words, so let's start with a definition. Activism is using your voice, your choices, and your courage to create change. And usually what we picture is picket signs and marching on the streets, protests, political halls, street corners, honking of horns, movements. But activism at its very essence is this: I refuse to let the past dictate the future. I repeat, I refuse to let the past dictate the future. This is when we come in with an intervention, an interruption. It's when we stand up and say, not on my watch, not in my lineage, not in my body, not in my spirit. This stops with me. This is activism. So now let's define what healing really is. Let's break it all down. Let's do a cloud breakdown. What is healing? We know the clinical definitions. We know the spiritual ones. But here is my best definition of healing, and it combines all of it. It combines my clinical work, my psycho-spiritual work, all of it. Healing is becoming whole. And what does that mean? Whole in mind, body, spirit, and heart. I know it feels repetitive, it feels redundant, but that's what happens. Healing is alignment. Healing is what I call the full chakra light up. It's when you have that surge where all of your chakras light up. Healing is the moment that all parts of you, the grounded root, you're grounded, the flowing sacral, you're creative, you're sensual, you're healed sexually, flowing. Your emotions are yours. Other people's emotions are theirs. The solar plexus, you're empowered. You say, I am that I am. I know who I am in the world. I walk out knowing who I am. The open heart, right? That is no longer a revolving door. You are in charge of who comes in and who comes out, but you're open, you're generous, you are in love with life. The throat chakra, it holds truth. You're truthful throat, truthful. Your third eye, this is where you're visionary. You can see things. And the awakened crown, where we're open, where we're in connection with the divine invisible, with the spirituality, with the quantum field. You know that this is my jam on this podcast. It's full alignment, and everything is humming together. All of it is humming together into one big unified what? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Healing is when we feel coherent. Go study Joe Dispenza's work around coherence and how it heals the body. Healing is basically when we're choosing, when we're voting for evolution rather than repetition. And I love to see healing as a coming home to self. It's not so much that we're awakening outside, we are remembering the self. It is a divine remembrance of who we are, and we come back into the body. And what does that mean when it comes to trauma? It means that we're not dissociating, that we are clean and safe enough inside of ourselves because we have come home to our true selves, that we are safe enough to be in our body. It is a full remembrance of self, self with the big S. So it's a homecoming. Remember Tara Brach's quote, all sickness is homesickness. And so we come back home. That's healing. So I want us to go with visuals. You know, I teach a lot in visuals, whether you want to close your eyes or keep them open, or if you're taking a walk, just have the image in your mind. Because the reason why I teach so much in visuals is because the mind learns things like this, when we can have an image in our mind. So close your eyes, don't close your eyes, it doesn't matter. Imagine one person, and maybe that person is you. Because this is how I picture it with my own healing. Standing on a road that represents your whole family lineage. So behind you on this road, decades of trauma, there's addictions, there's alcoholism, there's silence, there's shame, there's secrets, there's codependency, there's rage, there's suppression, there's fear. All of this is behind you. There's all those unspokens, the things that no one in the family wanted to talk about, wanted to face. All of it swirling, swirling, swirling. Because believe me, it is loud. It's the patterns that everyone followed and fell into. It's the pain that we just kept inheriting and inheriting and inheriting, all the trauma responses, all the startled responses that didn't even belong to us, but we just got them. We got them. We inherited them. Now, picture you, that one single human who suddenly turns around, plants your feet, and puts your hands out in a powerful stop. And by the way, this is one of my mudras, is this halt, this stop gesture. You push back on the entire momentum of your family's pain. You halt it, you interrupt it, and by doing that, you change its course. That, my love, is healing. That is activism. One person, you changing hundreds of years of unhealed, traumatized humanity. And I'm not being dramatic and I'm not exaggerating, because scientifically speaking, let's just go science. You know how in this podcast I do it, I work multidimensionally. So I put the topic in the middle and there's spokes on the wheel. So one of the spokes is just science and baby science. Remember me and my baby science. It's not like huge theory. It's just a bite-sized piece so that you can have the image and you can have the tool in your hand. When you change, I don't know if you remember this from science class, but when you change one small variable in the science experiment, remember you kept doing your science experiment, but if one small variable is changed, the entire experiment changes. Literally, if you went from 2 drops to 2.5 drops, change the whole thing. Everything changes, the outcomes, the trajectory, the possibilities, the results. It's a big deal when you do this fraction of a shift because the whole system is interconnected. So what if we attach that concept to healing? Your healing is that variable, let's say in the human experiment, your boundaries, your recovery, your different choices, your shadow work, your sobriety, your nervous system regulation. How about this one? Maybe you choose to be the one who doesn't hit your kids, who doesn't yell at them. Imagine huge, huge exponential change moving forward. Every time you change, the whole system changes. This isn't small. This isn't insignificant. Both science and spirit are fist bumping. They agree. One shift in you can transform everything around you. Ah, you love that. Goosebumps. Goosebumps. Now, let's take it quantum. Let's go quantum. Let's go quantum. In quantum physics, and again, baby quantum physics, something really wild happens. The moment there is an observer, the wave of infinite possibilities. Remember, in quantum physics, there's this waves. I want you to just picture waves and waves and waves of all the possibilities in the world. Beyond the world, cosmically, when there is an observer, when you choose to say, I see this, that wave collapses into a particle. That particle represents one reality. And by the way, can be used a lot for manifesting, right? So whatever you decide to see, whether it's good or bad, whether it's evil, whether it's magical, however you decide to see something, that wave of multiple possibilities collapses into what they call particle. So what does that mean in English? You want the translation? Before you look, you're surrounded by infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities exist all around you, moving. The moment you pay attention, reality forms. Do you see the importance when we talk about mindfulness, when we talk about focusing? Where you put your attention matters for this reason, because it creates reality. Becoming aware of where you're choosing to put your attention is what makes you a creative, a creator human. Your consciousness is generative. It creates more and more and more of whatever it is that you're choosing to look at. Straight up. Super simple. Not easy, but simple. So when we are choosing to heal, it collapses a whole timeline behind us. And this is where we can do the work of birthing, forming, curating, of designing a new one. That's the small. Now let's imagine the all. Imagine on that road, millions of us doing this. Millions. So next to you, you've got a whole line of people holding your hands all around the planet, all around the globe, holding hands, collapsing old timelines of narcissism, abuse, domination, censorship, silence, fear, brutality, superior, inferior paradigms, and choosing a new particle, a new path, a new paradigm that you can choose for your individual self. But what if there's millions of us that do this together, that collapse all of those waves of infinite possibility into one particle, which is a healed humanity, a humanity that wants to do it different? This is how we birth new humanities. And when we birth new humanities, that is evolution, dynamic re-evolutions. So yeah, we have lived, and I keep beating the drum to this over and over and over, under centuries, under thousands and thousands of years, under the tyranny of unhealed narcissism. So we're here to expose it for that reason. That's why it's become such a topic, because it's not just about the narcissistic lover or spouse. It's about the way that systems have been run for centuries. What types of systems? These types of systems. Political systems, religious institutions, corporate hierarchies, leadership models, family dynamics, relationships, traditions, social norms, parenting structures. The narcissistic paradigm is the oldest empire in the world. And what is a paradigm, y'all? What is a paradigm? It is a decision by multiple people to see reality in a certain way. And that is creative and generative, meaning it just kept going on and on and on and on and growing. Why? Because that's where the attention went of all the possibilities, that paradigm, superior, inferior, using domination as leadership, using enslavement, using fear, coercion, and control. That happens in one person all the way up into power structures. That has been the paradigm. And who has co-created it? Our trauma responses. Check this out. Our trauma colludes with this paradigm. Our fear, our freeze, our flight, our fight, our fawn, our shutdowns, our self-doubt, our leaving the body, our dissociating, our unhealed attachment wounds that, yes, started because we were victims to this system, for sure, way back then, Cain and Abel, but our dysregulated nervous systems fed it, right? Because once we are stuck in that our own unhealed, wounded, scared paradigm, that's all we can see. That's all we can see. And that begins to generate more and more and more. And so we're two peas in a pod, our traumatized selves, our afraid selves, and the system that wants to control that and use that. But get this, we are the new human. We know more, we feel more, we see more, we are conscious, and we are awake. We know more. That's why I keep saying history will not repeat itself. We are a way more conscious humanity. History will not repeat itself, not through us. So let's get clear, right? And again, I talk about this in all sorts of ways through different angles. And in some ways, it's just the same message, but let's get clear about something. Healing is not the absence of struggle. You know how I always say we are not spiritually or emotionally bypassing the dark or the shadow or what brings us down? We gotta smell the stinky. We gotta let these feelings move through our bodies. Yes. So even though we've been avoiding the war out there, through all of our avoidance mechanisms, our coping mechanisms. Who's to blame us? It's terrifying sometimes, but we're also avoiding the internal war that we're experiencing inside. This is what I keep talking about, and it's common knowledge. This is the dark night of the soul. It is the angel Gabriel who wrestles with Jacob until the morning. And it does feel like that. It feels that when we go in, we begin to wrestle inside. That's part of it. That is a normal part of what happens in order for us to heal. Because what will we find? We will find our shadows, our secrets, the parts of ourself that we just, we're so distraught when we look at them, our addictions, our trauma responses, our own internalized narcissism, racism, sexism, just add all the isms, classism, our own ways of avoidance, which are all coping mechanisms when they begin, but they really, really, really mess up with our lives if we continue using. They began as powerful defenses, but over time, they're hindering us. Our own self-betrayal, through our low self-worth. And some of this isn't even ours. It was placed inside of us. Our dad, our mom, our caretaker's self-hate put inside of us, all laid down like a beautiful suitcase. That's what they mean by you come with baggage. Yes, we come with a lot of baggage. Not just you, me, all of us. Hello, humanity. That's what we're talking about. Humanity comes with baggage. But here's the difference. This is a struggle that you can control. This is a war that you can win. This is a battle that has freedom on the other side. Because sometimes we feel like we can't control what's happening out there. We can't, but we can control what's happening in here. And you get to pace it. You get to choose it. You get to guide it. And you get to lead it. And guess what? In 2025, as I always say, there's no more excuses. We have therapy platforms, we have support groups, and many of these things are free. We have books. There's so much there to help us, to support us, to guide us, to accompany us while we're going through the dark night of the soul, while we are wrestling with the angel, while we are crying our past. We have so many earth angels here to be with us. That external war out there, you can't control that, but your internal one, oh yes, my love, that's your terrain. That's your jurisdiction. So healing is the activism that the world desperately needs, because it is the activism that you can actually do. Yay. I love this. I love this so much. Each healed person becomes a new node on this human grid. Each healed person. It's like a new little light. You know how when we're decorating the trees and we put on last year's lights and there's a lot of lights that don't work anymore, but maybe we can take off the bulbs and put a new bulb in? That's you. That's me. And yeah, we don't want to use the bulbs from the past. We want to put in a new bulb. Us. It's a nervous system that's calm, where we're facing things as the observer, as the divine observer, which I always say is 50% of every meditation. We become the observer of ourselves, of what's around us, of our reactions. We can then look at each part of ourselves, opening our heart, clearing our mind, creating new schemas for ways of responding to love, to children, to parenting, to treating others, to sex. Our spirit is aligned with all of us. And if you believe in the spirit, if you believe in the divine invisible, we get help. Not only do we get help through earth angels here, through support groups, through 12-step groups, through therapists, through counselors, through mentors, through coaches, we get help through the divine invisible if you believe in that, in a higher power. Just imagine that there's more and more groups of people walking around with a regulated nervous system. I've talked about this in the episode on the air of emotions. Imagine if our leaders were regulated and not spewing all of their triggers over us, onto us. Imagine. I feel like John Lennon. Maybe, is John Lennon here? With this song, Imagine? Yeah, maybe. Thank you, John. Thank you. I'm with you. Yeah, imagine a planet where leaders aren't trauma-triggered children in adult bodies. There's no blame there. I get that. I know that. I've been that adult where my child is just really activated and responding out of a profound wound. Imagine if our society, if our children learned how to be emotionally literate, psychically literate, understanding of energetics, which is our first language, by the way. Imagine self-responsibility, staying accountable to how you might be harming another. My gosh, that would dissipate wars and discussions and fights between couples so quickly. If someone said, "Ooh, yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. That was me. That wasn't you. That was my own stuff." Imagine that's the new humanity, and you are the prototype. So here's another image. Imagine yourself as one of those Marvel superheroes, because that's what I see when I'm, it's like I picture the Matrix and moving in slow motion when I'm thinking about being regulated. I'm thinking about slowing all of my system down. And when I think of what I'm about to describe, I do think of those Marvel superheroes who use these enormous force fields, right? Those massive energetic force fields. So imagine yourself putting like this massive, energetic force field that's made up of boundaries and healing and recovery, like all the things that your journaling, your frame your day rituals, your chill protocols, your truths, your personal truths, your regulation, your coping mechanisms that you've learned. So you're putting this force field out. And then on the other side of you are all the children of the next generation. And they're running around securely attached, safely playing because of you. They're playing, they're laughing, all the signs of secure attachment. They're exploring. Animals feel safe too. They're running freely with the children, playing, cuddling, swaddling, everything about human intimacy, gazing, talking to each other. Picture trees that are stretching upwards towards the sun, all of that, while you are putting out this massive energetic force field. Life is less scary because of you. There are normal interactions of listening to each other, lots of conversation, whether it's about hard things or great things. Everyone's around a table having this conversation. Now imagine millions of us standing shoulder to shoulder with these force fields. You get it? You get me? You get what I'm here doing. This is my CTA. You know those little buttons on websites? It's like CTA, call to action. This is my CTA. We're the ones that become this impenetrable wall of healed lineage. Ugh. Not perfect, by the way. I'm not saying perfect. Totally, beautifully, humanly imperfect, but more healed. That is activism. So let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to 2025. Let's boots on the ground, practical and portable. As always, my stuff is practical and portable. Yes, we travel out into the astrals. We visit the spirit. We visit our hearts. We visit the chakras, but we also come down to the ground, to the earth, practical and portable, because we're not just being trendy. No, this isn't a fashion. This is a way of being. So for 2025, let's get practical and portable, because if you've been feeling lost in 2025, if you felt like, where's my passion? What is my purpose? What is my mission? And I hear this a lot. I have no compass, especially with the swirl, the incredible swirl that's going on outside there in 2025. Here it is. I'm giving it to you. Your purpose is to heal. Your mission is to evolve. Alignment, full chakra, light up. Alignment is your activism. Stop the addictions. Look at them. They were coping mechanisms, so have compassion for them. For sure, you were probably very lonely at some point, very scared, needing something else that you filled with an addiction. So we have compassion, but it no longer helps you cope. Punto y aparte. Period. Next paragraph. Look at that. There's so many people, you guys, millions and millions and millions of people who've had addictions. It's part of the human condition, but let's learn, right? Let's learn to not have them, because they F up our life. They really do. It just makes it worse. Downhill. One way. It's one way. Downhill. But we have compassion for them. But let's get on it. Go to therapy. And if it's too expensive, find ways on YouTube, at YouTube University, right here. YouTube University. There's free support groups and there's free 12-step groups all over the planet. There's people who are studying to be psychotherapists, psychologists. Call the universities. They need you as a client. They need to practice, and they all have supervisors who are licensed clinicians. Go to universities, find them. Face your shadows. You guys, shadows are just the parts of ourselves that we are cringy, icky, that someone might have put in us. Someone might have put in us a shadow. Sexual abuse is someone else putting in their shadow into us. And we're here to get it out of us. So we've got to bring them back. Why? Because the shadows will ambush us. They do lurk. They do show up in moments that we don't want them to show up. They morph into addictions. They morph into hurtful and damaging relationships and toxicity. Face your shadows, bring them back. Don't do it alone. None of this is alone because this is hard work. Learn your nervous system. Take responsibility for your own part. How about this one? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. You will see so many things collapse. It'll go like this. And that feels scary a lot. But trust me, you will feel so cleansed, so relieved by not carrying around your family secrets, your ancestor secrets, your own secrets. Tell the truth. Oh my God, I can just feel the relief of that. Tell the truth. Get support. Do your shame shares in a group. If you don't know what shame shares are, go to my YouTube channel. You'll see all of this. These are cloudisms. Frame your day, chill protocol, shame shares, the triple Ds, the 4 Ps, all of them are there. They're tools for you to do this work. This is a cause. This is a movement. This is a evolution because we're evolving. This is a planetary intervention, my loves. Intervention. This is the activism that's accessible. It's possible. It's also free. Tons of free resources. This is the deal. If you have felt lost or wobbly or scared in 2025, if you have felt like you've lost your passion, you don't know what your goals are anymore, maybe some of you have lost jobs because all of these towers are falling, you feel like you don't have a mission or a purpose, like your compass is off, or don't feel like you've got one. I'm sure you've already tracked, and if you haven't, I'll inform you that every single thing that I do, that I create, is a doorway into this path, this healing as activism path. This is why I use the word dynamic, because dynamic means evolving, engaging, growing, struggling sometimes, alive, vibrant, as in activism. We are active in our own lives. Not only did I roll into becoming a psychotherapist in the early 2000s through my own work, through my own need to get my personal toolbox, my personal chill protocol that I saw was working for my phobia, for my general anxiety, for my jealousy, for my explosive rages that came from my CPTSD, even though I didn't know it at the time, my codependency. So when I talk about 12-step programs, and I'll talk about it, it comes from the other side, not from the addict side. Ish. I'll explain more about that later. All of that was exploding. My sleeping volcano was alive. I needed all of this, so I started to create this amalgam of different tools. And that amalgam became the dynamic meditation method. And then in 2009, in my own nature, I just threw it out there as a workshop because I could see that my clients needed it. I knew friends and family, and dynamic meditation allowed me the way to have friends and family or people who did not want to go to therapy. Right? Dynamic is for people who can't afford therapy, don't want to go to therapy, are already doing their journey and need something to bolster. For people who are going into therapy, it's just such a good companion. It's a toolkit. It's a beautiful, holistic toolkit. It's literally your trauma-informed regulation toolbox. You reset, you emotionally calibrate. It's your psychological first aid, first responder for real. And it completely up levels your central nervous system. I am witness. I'm a true believer because I went through it. I still do it. 2 days ago, I was using my DMM tools. And then at that time, during the mid 2000s, I started doing groups, meditation groups, discussion groups, and now there's Wealth from Within. And these are for people who've done a lot of healing work. These are folks who've had a journey. They are psychospiritual. And what we talk about is we talk about mindset, always from a multidimensional perspective. And people share their gains, share their shames, share their fears. What brings us together is a commitment to growth, and it's a commitment to heal. And the idea there is the more we heal on the inside, what we do with the inner journey begins to show up as abundance and prosperity on the outside. No joke. We see it. We see it in action because when we heal inside, our outer world begins to transform. And that's true when we're not healing. Our outer world transforms, but it starts to go down. We talk about ancestral healing and identity expansion, moving into our rebirths, our re-evolutions. Everyone becomes a lighthouse. And as they're just becoming, it starts to ripple out. It's inevitable. They're not even out there trying to change others. They're just changing themselves, which is the key, which is where we started. We're coming full circle. And it's how they're changing their lineage. Then 2020 just burst all these new things like the empath leader training, right? I woke up from a dream. It said empath and it said leader. It didn't say leader on its own and it didn't say empath on its own. It didn't say empathic. It said empath leader. Because this is what the world is asking for. We need a new leadership style that it has high IQ and high EQ. This new humanity needs people who are emotionally regulated and emotionally intelligent, who know how to optimize our emotional operating system because we come with it and it is a high caliber technology. It keeps us alive. So empaths aren't about martyrdom, the healed empath. They have boundaries, they have sovereignty, they have autonomy. And as we move into this era of AI, we're also moving into the era of emotions. Mark my words, that is a cloudism era of emotions because it's time. It's time to know this operating system, the invisible one and the visible. It birthed the two books. This whole period has been about birthing and birthing and birthing. I've been so fertile. Birthing, making love to creation. That's what's been happening. But that comes from healing. So after healing, there can be a renaissance, renacimiento, rebirth. And in the rebirth, we are creative humans. We are creators. And check it out. My last 5 years, bam, 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 bam. And then right now, I launched the store. For those of you who don't know, I just launched a store and it's called Train the Whole Human. And it's about this new era where we must be aligned in mind, heart, spirit, and body. So this new human, these young folks want holistic fitness. They want to be totally aligned. Young folks, I have so many young folks, so many 20-year-olds, amazing, who want to heal. Men, young men, under 30, right out of college. They're just doing therapy as part of their fitness, as part of their wellness. They're going to the gym. They're seeing their therapist. They're meditating. It's amazing. It's already happening. So I created the Train the Whole Human store to have embodied reminders, actual material things to keep reminding you, right? Instead of putting up your stickies everywhere, your sticky notes, you're going to see that sign. You're going to wear that sweatshirt because it helps. I have stickies. I wish I could show you everywhere with affirmations. And I tell my groups to do it. I tell my folks to do it. Everything. I have a notes section with affirmations, with quotes, with things that I need to remember. I tell myself to say yes. I tell myself to say, I am the great I am in terms of I am becoming. And so this store has quotes on canvas, has t-shirts, has sweatshirts, has pillows. And all the pillow collection is about human intimacy. The reason why I highlight human intimacy is when people are scared of AI and technology and all of that, we're going to collaborate with all of that. It's part of humans innovating and enacting their creative selves. But we don't want to lose our own human technology, our ability to kiss, to touch, to smell each other, to hear each other's voices, to be in each other's presence energetically, to feel the energy of another. And especially as now that we have avatars and we can actually create our own images in different ways, we want to be able to taste the pizza, as I say, to smell when bread is being baked, because that's a beautiful part of our own technology. So I created this store with that intention. Instead of using a sticky, although I love stickies, by the way, old school that way, but you have reminders of your healing, of your recovery, of your evolution, of what you're wanting to do. That's the point. Everything. It's again, all my stuff is spokes on the wheel going to the same place, which is optimizing, healing ourselves to stop the lineage of trauma and narcissistic systems and to move into a new humanity. So this store is meant to regulate, remind, to ground you, to inspire, to rewire. So just when you walk into, let's say, your dermatologist and you see all these products for your face to help, to give you ways to take home and keep your self-care going, this store is the same thing. I wish you could walk into my office and all the stuff would be there. But this is my virtual office. And the more we are global, right? Everyone else on the planet, everyone else watching this from other places, I feel so connected to you. Just pretend that going into this store is like coming into my office, my holistic well-being office, so that you can feel inspired, you can feel rewired, you could feel reset. The quotes are like CBT, mentally reframing. These are meditations you can hold like this mug. They're visual activations. They also swaddle lots of hoodies, right? Because to feel securely attached, we have to feel swaddle. We have to feel embraced like little babies do when they're born. We swaddle them. None of this is corporate. I don't think there's anything in there, maybe a few things, but nothing in there is over $50. Nothing. On purpose. And it's Latina owned. It's woman owned. It's empath owned. It's trauma riser owned. And it's all about healing technology. And by the way, it's fun. I needed some fun because I talk a lot about really heavy, dense stuff like narcissism a lot, and I have to do it, and I love it, and it's important. But boy, I needed some fun for the holidays. I needed to feel creative. I needed to have my chakras, all my chakras be like a lit up Christmas tree with lots of carols going on. I really had so much play. And play is a response to secure attachment. When we feel securely attached, when we feel safe to other beings, we play with them. We laugh. I want you to think of someone right now who you play with, who you laugh out loud with, who it's just enjoyable. That is a sign of safety. We want families like that, families that play, sit around and do board games or do a puzzle and laugh together. Those are signs of secure attachment and signs of safety, y'all. Anyway, I needed to be colorful and fun and playful. And I was just cracking myself up as I was doing some of the stuff on this store. And you'll see, just browse through it. And I have a whole section on pets because they're the original empaths. Oh my gosh, it was such a beautiful download when I was like, wait, pets are empaths. They're nothing but empaths. They feel us psychically. We speak energetically. There's telepathic communication. They're all about feelings. They're about comfort and consolation and emotional support. They are the original empaths. Oh, so beautiful. Anyway, there's a whole pet collection there. So let's close this out. So exciting. So exciting. So I'll put the links all the links. I have one link and it's, I call it the link to all the things. It's there. So here's the truth. Let's just close out, you guys, together. We're not going to be able to stop every injustice on the planet. We are not going to be able to dismantle every system. We're not. There's multiple timelines going on at the same time as we coexist with each other. And you'll see that with friends and family. Some people are here on the healing journey. Some people aren't even on it. And some people are over here on the healing journey. And the more you heal, you can start to feel with great compassion and kindness the different places we're on the healing journey, because it's all just one big healing journey. We will not end humanity's pain. So when people ask me, will I be able to ever get rid of my trauma? I always say no, it's there. And the all is in the small is in the all. Humanity will always have as a part of itself trauma due to narcissistic tactics and strategies. But what happens is this: that spotlight on the trauma begins to dim it. And in dynamic meditation method, we just start to quiet it. It gets quiet. And the new spotlight of your new neural nets, neural pathways, of your new schemas, of the new patterns and mindsets, that begins to grow like a beautiful garden. Why? Because where we put attention grows. Bam! Quantum wisdom. Where we put attention grows. Trauma gets silent. And so this rebirth, new central nervous system, and it's possible. I'm here to say it's possible. I see it. I see it every single day. I am it. I am it. It can happen. So that is true for humanity. So you can stimulate it in you. That's what you can do. You can stop it for your lineage. You can stop it in your lifetime. Your healing is activism. Your alignment is activism. Your coherence is activism. Shout out Joe Dispenza. Shout out Louise Hay. Shout out Bessel van der Kolk. Oh my gosh, I could shout out so many people. Shout out Tara Brach. Shout out Daniel Siegel. Your nervous system is activism. When you're the calm parent in the room, when you're regulated during a relational fight, which has to happen and happens all the time, when you're not collapsing on your child, your boundaries are activism. And this, my loves, is how we create heaven on earth. Heaven on earth, right? We're not always in the heavens, but we bring heaven down here to earth through heaven on earth moments. You'll see that HOEM, of course, it's a play on words, home, your home, which is heaven on earth moments, which is what we do in mindfulness, which is what we do when we've cleaned up our traumatic reactions, is we are able to be here in more beautiful, connected, threaded together, because we begin to thread together our heaven on earth moments. And I call it that. Look for the home stuff on the store. It's so beautiful. One breath at a time, one heart at a time, one human at a time. We're the medicine. You're the medicine by doing that. Let's breathe together from all over the planet. I want you to have that image. Let's close out with that image of us shoulder to shoulder and our lineage of trauma. And we thank them. We have compassion for that whole lineage is behind us. And our healing is actually creating something new. Thanks for being the activist of your own soul. I'll see you next time in my next podcast. I've been posting a lot of stuff lately. So go to my YouTube channel, go to Spotify, go to Amazon, go to iHeartRadio. We are everywhere. Go ahead and find me on all these things. But mostly, please spread the word. Share. Share this. It's free to share. And yet it's so generous to share. Like, comment. Let's move this algorithm together, y'all. Let's get that healing is activism message out. Okay? See you.